13 today. I'll be going somewhere else later also. I'll be going into Judges chapter 16 also. But my main text will be from Luke chapter 13, verse 24. And that says, "Strive to enter in at the straight gate, for many, I say unto you, will speak to enter in, or to seek to enter in, and shall not be able. When once the master of the house is risen up and hath shut to the door, and ye begin to stand without and to knock at the door, saying, Lord, Lord, open unto us. And he shall answer and say unto you, I know you not whence you are. Then shall ye begin to say, We have eaten and drunken in thy presence, and thou hast taught in our streets. But he shall say, I tell you, I know you not whence you are. Depart from me, all ye workers of iniquity." You guys can be seated. The thought that I had, that the Lord gave me from this text, I think He really gave me the title before He gave me the text to go along with it. But it's, you're in His presence, but His presence is not in you.
Come on now.
And I don't want that to sound harsh as it does, but in all reality, it is reality, unfortunately. Because there is sometimes we can be in His presence, Brother Joey, but all the while, He's not in us at all.
Come on.
Some points I wanted to make is, you've been in His presence, but it wasn't in you. You know about God and all the wonderful things He can do, but you don't have a personal relationship with Him. You've been around Him, but never fully all in with Him. You're not entirely dedicated and sold out to God. You thought all along you had it just right, but God has no idea who you are. And I know it seems like we're all saved in here, and I know it might not seem like nobody's lost and undone without God, but sometimes we tend to stray away even though we found Him and we know who He is. Sometimes we tend to go this way and go that way and sway to the left and right and go dibble-dabble on this for a little bit and then come back and then go dibble-dabble some more on something else and then come back. And all the while, even though we're dibble-dabbling in sin, it's really backsliding and you don't really know who we really are. And another thought that He gave me while I was down praying the other day is, oh, how scary it would be to wake up one morning, Brother Joey, and Him not be with me.
Come on now.
And I'm not trying to sound harsh at all today. This is just really what the Lord gave me, and not trying to preach on anybody. If anything, I'm preaching on me. But how scary would that be, Brother Joey, to wake up one morning and Him not be with me?
Come on.
I had the thought of Samson come to my mind when he went to Gaza and seen Delilah. He fell in love with her, and then she begged for him to tell, where are your strength? Like Samuel, I don't know if everybody knows the story of Samson, but Samson was a really strong man. From his mother's womb, she was not drink any eat any unclean thing, drink from the vine, and he was going to have really long hair. And if he ever cut his hair, that his strength would leave him, and he was not to cut his hair because that's where his strength lied. But he was not. It was kind of a secret; no one knew it. But Delilah was tempted of the Philistines, the Lord of the Philistines. Everyone promised her 1,100 pieces of silver from each of them if she would just entice him enough to say, Samson, where's your strength? Where does your strength lie? And she tried it and tried it and tried it. He would not tell her. And she finally just kept bugging him. And he's like, if they bind me with 7 green withs, which is fresh green cords that were never dried, that he'd be weak as any other man. And they came and bound him up. He broke the green withs, whatever had him bound. They bound him, but he was strong enough to break the bond that was on him. Delilah came to him again. You lied to me. You don't really love me like you say you do. Where is your strength, Samson? And he's, well, if you bind me with new ropes that's never been occupied, that's never been used, I'll be weak as any other man. They came, the Philistines, Delilah bound him up. The Philistines were on these Samson, and he broke whatever had him bound again. Delilah was getting more angry. You don't really love me. You're mocking me. You're making a mockery of me. Where is your strength, Samson? If you weave the 7 locks of my head, Delilah, with the web, I'll be like any other man. She did that. He woke again out of his sleep. Samson, the Philistines are upon thee. Brought whatever had him bound. Then she kept enticing him more. Samson, how can you say you love me if you really won't tell me with your whole heart?
Come on now.
Where is your strength, Samson? And that's just like the devil. And the Bible says over in Judges chapter 16, I'll go over there really fast and read that just so I don't get anything wrong here. And I'm trying to kind of take my time here.
Take your time, obey the Lord.
But Judges 16, chapter 16, verse 16 says, And it came to pass when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death. Meaning that she pressed him so bad every single day, to the point he was just so agitated, so aggravated. He's like, fine. I'll tell you where my strength is. Verse 17, that he told her all his heart, and said unto her, There hath not come a razor upon mine head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall be weak and be like any other man. And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, and sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, Come up this once, for he hath showed me all his heart. And the lords of the Philistines came up unto her, and brought money in their hand. And she made him sleep upon her knees, and she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head, and she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. And verse 20 and 21, I really want to focus on here. And she said, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awoke out of his sleep and said, I will go out as at other times before, and shake myself. And he wist not that the Lord was departed from him. But the Philistines took him, and put out his eyes, and brought him down to Gaza, and bound him with fetters of brass. And he did grind in the prison house. Verse 20 said, And he wist not that the Lord was departed from him, meaning he didn't even realize when he woke up that morning, or at that time, that the Lord was not even with him anymore.
Come on now.
What a shame it would be for me, Brother Joey, as a Christian, or as an assistant pastor's wife, to come in here day after day after day and do my best and still not do enough. And I'm not trying to give you no hope today. I'll give you hope here in a little bit. Everybody knows that, there's always hope in Jesus, but I just got to be real and get on everybody's level just for a second. What a shame it would be. I heard a few of you say, I'm not, during survival, we made up in our mind that we're not coming in here to leave the same way that we came. What a shame it would be to come in here every weekend and leave the same way we came. What a shame it would really be to live for God. I've been saved since I was about 10 or 11, and I'm 24 now. What a shame it would be, Brother Joey, for me to live all this time for him and him not even know who I am, because I've never been serious with him in the first place. Sometimes we tend to stray away from God, even though we found him and we've been saved. Sometimes we tend to stray away, and I myself have strayed away sometimes in my walk with him, and I've had to find him again. And it's not because he never left me, but it's always because I walked away willingly from him. He's never left me, because the word says he'll never leave us, and he'll never forsake us. But he'll go all the way, even to the end of the world with us. So it's not because he ever left me. It's always because I walked away and I left him. And much like Samson, some of us don't realize how bad off we really are in our spiritual walk with God. We don't even know that he's not with us like we think he is.
Come on.
And what a shame it would be for me to just wake up one day and think that everything's okay, and I go about my way, that all the Lord's with me, he's got me, and even though I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I'm sinning willfully every day, or I'm going out and doing this and saying this or doing that, and then when the time comes and you really need him like Samson did, and you really need him, and you call on him and he ain't there. I know it sounds kind of harsh, but it's really true. And I'm not gonna, like I said, I ain't gonna leave you hopeless, because I said all of that to say that there is hope for everybody in this house.
Come on.
And I know it might not seem like any of us are lost and undone, but I feel like in my heart, and I'll just be honest, I don't know everybody's personal issues. I don't know everybody's personal things that's going on in your day-to-day lives. But in my heart,
Come on.
I feel like there's people in this house that is pulled and tugged at and wanting to go one way, but so scared to fully commit to the world because you don't know what it's like, because you've been in this all your life, or you've been in this for so long, but you're afraid to stray off the path, but you can't help but taste and see of the world just a little bit. But I won't leave you without hope, because there's always hope in God. I mean, another thing that reminded me is, if you look at Paul in the Bible, he was probably one of what people would consider one of the worst, because before he became Paul, he was Saul, and he persecuted Christians. He killed Christians because of just believing in Jesus. And he was on the road to Damascus, and then the Lord had a great light shine upon him, and caused him to go blind, and the Lord spoke to him and changed his life in an instant. And he went from killing Christians to preaching the gospel. And if you think you're too far gone, I promise you you're not. And I know, even though you might dibble and dabble and go here and there in sin, and you're like, well, man, I messed up too much. I can't go back. I can't get back to where I used to be. But I promise you that you can, because as long as there is mercy for each and every one of us, and even if you feel like you've given up or that you messed up too much, He's always waiting on you with open arms, no matter how much you mess up, no matter how far you go. And I know it might seem like a little off topic from everything that's been preached during this revival, but the Lord gave me this message like a couple months back, but never gave me the time to preach it until I was asked to preach in this revival. And I wanted to preach my heart, because it's a scary thought to be so blinded by sin and by the way of the world, and not even know that you're not okay.
Come on.
Because in those moments I've been there, I didn't know how far at one time that I'd strayed from God, until I realized I couldn't feel it like I used to. And when I got to the point that I could not feel Him anymore, I got scared, Brother Joey.
Come on now.
So I'm just going to share my heart. Everybody's either like families to me anyways. I'm going to share my heart. And when I realized that I wasn't sure if He was with me or not, I don't think I'd ever been so scared in my life. Because He'd always been with me until I called on Him. I didn't feel like He was, and then I was like, man, what if He's actually gone? And not because He never left, but because I willingly strayed away from Him, because I was too interested in other things. And I never want to be so distracted by the world and by the things it can offer and give, that I forget who He is and how good He's been to me and where He's brought me from. And it's easy to come in here and be around God and His people and be around His presence, but it's just a totally different thing to be in His presence in you. It's easy to be around Him, but it's different for Him to be in you. And it's so easy to come in here and see everybody get their shout on and speak in tongues, and you feel good because they feel good, but sometimes we forget, are we really okay? And it's so much better to know that you're okay than just think, oh, I think I'm okay. It's better to be for sure that you know that you're okay, that if you lay your head down and you what's to go on and the Lord in your sleep, that you know good and well where you would go, because it's so easy to think you have His presence, but all the while you don't even know who you really are. And that's such a scary thought. But I promise, there's hope for you.
there is.
Today, for everybody in this world, for anybody that don't know him, or anyone that has known him straight away, anybody that's out here dibbling, dabbling in sin, just want to know what it's like, I promise there's nothing out there like the Lord, and there's nothing out there like his presence. There's nothing better than him, and I'm thankful that he saved me when I was a little girl, and that even though through my walk with him and I strayed away, that he's brought me back every time. Every time I willingly walked away, he brought me back, and he just lets me know who he is and that he loves me and that he's always there. And I know that he'll be there for you too if we willingly repent and we're sincere with him. He's faithful and just forgive us. And I promise you that there is hope today. If you feel like you've gone too far, you messed up too much, I promise you there's hope. Because he's waiting on you with open arms. And that's really all that I have.